Well, I've been asking you some easy questions. Now I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Okay.
And I ask all my guests this hard question.
Okay.
Feel free to not answer.
Okay.
And it's a tough one, but it's this. What is your happiest memory? It's a tough one.
Okay.
And you can do a couple if you want. I don't want to, you know, but it's interesting to find out what people can, you know, when you look back and you go, wow, that was a moment that I was truly happy, or it's a moment that really stuck out in my mind.
I can't tell you any single one. They have a lot of happy ones. And the good Lord has taken good care of me. He given me a good life.
Yes.
But I guess I really can't answer what the happiest was, because
Well,
I
they may
so
have a
many
dozen.
Oh, gosh.
Because it sounded like you had a really good boyhood, right?
Oh.
Were you an Eagle Scout?
Yes.
See, a little bird told me that too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you had a very active childhood, a very full childhood.
And we went to a Scout Jamboree in 1947 in Moisson, France, and we grew up quick. It was right after the war, and our government gave us a troop transport to bring us over there. There was about, I forget how many kids, well anyway, when we came into the Brussels harbor, we had to go around all these sunken ships.
Oh my gosh.
You go out to travel to visit some place in the ditches on the side of that would be German and American tanks. You know, it was as I say, you grew up quick.
The war was still fresh by
Oh yeah.
by the sight.
We lost a whole troop of thousand boys.
Oh yeah.
They got into a minefield and had not been demined. They got in it and about 30 boys. It was really tragic to see that happen. But
And this was how many years after the war?
well, 47.
47.
A couple years.
Oh my gosh.
He stayed on the estate in Moisson. And they say Rommel had stayed there, but who knows?
Had you seen in northern Scotland Scapa Flow, where they sunk the?
Oh yes.
We drove by and you could see where they had sunk the ships to prevent the Germans
Yeah.
from.
Well, there's still German ships laying on the bottom of Scapa Flow, because after the First World War, they had all these ships in there, and everyone was arguing about what ships they were going to take. 11 o'clock one morning, the captain gave the word, and all the ships were scuttled into the drink. And the people in Orkney liked the German soldiers. They liked them better than the English, to be frank with you. And even to this day, they speak very, very warmly of the German soldiers that were there.
So okay, so what's another happy memory? I know you've been married for a long time to an absolutely lovely lady.
I'm fortunate. She is a great gal.
So your wife Gloria, where did you meet her?
I met her at Northwestern when I was in school there, and we dated. Eventually, in '53, we got married, and in southern Michigan. And our life kind of moved around since then. Everything's been great.
I would consider that's probably one of your happiest memories, huh?
Oh, that sure is.
Yeah.
That sure is. And just a lot of happy memories, and a lot of nice people cross your path as you go through life, you know. And little things little trinkets I have at home. And, oh yeah, I remember so and so gave me that. I've got a calendar for 19. But it's about 20 years old, and the pictures were of all the castles in Scotland. This friend of mine he was a banker. He brought me one time. He wrote on look on page such and such, that's Gurnigo. And it was from Russell, who was the president of the bank downtown. And, a lot of good memories.
Now, speaking of trinkets, I just have to tell you that one of the times I went to Scotland, and I was given a tour of the Grand Lodge
Oh, yeah.
of Scotland, and they take us up to the museum, and there's all these exhibits, and you had a whole cabinet of exhibits of trinkets and Masonic paraphernalia and medals and stuff that you had donated there, and you hadn't even told me that, and I'm like, hey, I was with our friend Todd. I'm like, Todd, look at this. Here's the judge's. He's even got stuff going on here in Scotland.
Well, that's good to hear. I don't think I've ever seen that, to be
Oh,
frank.
really?
No.
You have your own exhibit there.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I was Grand Master, we recognized the Grand Lodge of France. And English were madder than hell because their National Grand Lodge that they'd founded, they were saying how bad the French were because they never had a Bible on the altar and they didn't do that. Hell, I attended a lodge with a Mohammedan by
Mhm.
and it was just like my lodge down here.
Yeah.
The same thing. Well, I remember writing the Grand Lodge of Scotland, because this guy, the secretary, had written me, signed his name F.S.A. Scott, fellow of the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland. And so I wrote him back and said, I would hope that the Grand Lodge of Scotland wouldn't follow lockstep with the Grand Lodge of England. The lodge of my ancestor, Roslin, the Earl of Roslin, he was the first Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Scotland. Masonry existed in Scotland long before that, but and I signed my name in FSA Scott. They never did not withdraw their recognition of us.
Wow.
Of course, Grand Lodge of England did, but that's another story.
I got to see, the vellum, the rolled up vellum that all the master masons, they wrote that was your, however many great grandfather, to please stay as the Grand Master of Masons.
That's right.
It looked like a big paper towel roll on vellum, on animal skin, and they had all written it, and that was the petition, that we do not want you to leave. We want to keep you as the Grand Master.
There is a sheet in, let's say, a vellum, big sheet up in the Orkney Masonic Lodge in Kirkwall, I think. And it's a Masonic thing. And we were in to see it, and one of the Micmacs who was with us at the time said, "Oh, there's a sign of what we use for deity in that thing." And so the guy that this was the conference up there, David Sinclair, he took a little chunk out of about the middle of it, not the end, because this big long thing had been rolled up, and they kept it rolled up in the attic in the city hall. Well, it turned out that it dated to 1400. And it was brought up from the south, as they say. I have a book that tells about it. It might well have come from Roslin.
Wow.
But the lodge was kind of mad at him because now they'd have to insure him because it was such a...
Because it's such a historical item, yeah.
That's because it's a great piece of Masonic history,
I visited that, the Kirkwall Lodge, and my Masonic chapter penny is in there. They've got just a small kind of library historical spot.
Did they have the
scroll, the big
scroll,
red?
the
Yeah,
hanging?
I got to see that.
Yeah.
But it was I only saw half of it because it couldn't.
When I was down on the floor too.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah, this was up on a big roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judge, it's so good to be, I feel fortunate anytime I can talk to you, and I also feel fortunate for my audience to be able to eavesdrop on one of our conversations, and just to let people know I've spoken a lot about you, and now they can see how wonderful and and how much you're an absolute treasure.
You're very kind.
I
believe
love
me.
to I
Very
love
kind.
picking your brain. I've learned so much from you, and really, I can point to you as you're a person who changed my life for the better.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
you know,
I appreciate that.
and I'm not alone. I know a lot of people where they can point to you and say, you made a difference in their life. You made an impact in their
Well,
life.
that's great.
And you must know that you are truly loved and respected, and
Well.
beyond the confines of Duluth. I do have a question for you. It's another tough one. And again, there's no right and wrong answers,
Yeah.
but here's the setup. You're looking in your magic crystal ball,
Yeah.
and you're looking in there. It's your crystal ball. Tell us what you see.
Boy, I can't answer that, but I just thank the good Lord that I've had a good life, I had good health, and I just hope when I go that I leave a little good behind. That crystal ball, what you do and how you do it, I think, makes the important thing of what people think of you later on. Just the other day, I ran into somebody, and you can take this out if you want later on. We had a meeting at our church, there we had no meeting. And I was sitting with this guy, talking with him, and the guy across the way. My wife said, there's someone said, well, that's Judge Bouschor. Well, he says, everybody knows Judge Bouschor, but I didn't know the guy. I had no idea who he was, but I was thought to myself, geez, I better behave myself, huh?
You've got a reputation to
Oh,
maintain.
that's right.
Yes, you do.
I hope it's good.
Well, I would fairly guess it's quite good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, what do you see for the future as? What do you see for the? I'm going to ask you. What do you see for the future? I don't know, of our country, of humanity. I mean, we talked a little bit about social media. I mean, the world has changed now. You're 92 years young.
Yeah.
You must have seen a lot of changes.
It's changed unbelievably. I grew up during the Second World War, and I always wanted to go to Berlin.
Mm.
And I loved the Brandenburg Gate, and my dad would say, you can't talk like that. That's, we're in a war. Well,
Mm.
good Lord smiled on us later when we were in Berlin. But you've seen a lot of changes, yeah. And it is changes, I hope it's for the better.
Mm.
But who knows? This damn foolishness over there in the Ukraine.
Mm.
I just keep my fingers crossed that no one uses the A-bomb.
Right.
That nutcase up in North Korea, I don't know, just hope all goes well. Wish well for this old world of ours.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the best and the worst of humanity, both in your life. I would also suspect sitting at the bench, you've seen some good people
Yeah.
and some bad people, and we all hope that the good ones win.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good wish for us to end this part on.
Okay.
I would love to come back and do another interview with you. I'd like to dig a little deeper into some of your Duluth roots and some of your Scottish roots, and
Give me a heads up the next time around.
you know what I'll do? I'll give you a set of questions.
Okay.
But I think you did fairly well.
Well, good. Thank you.
You're pretty good on the fly, and just also some of the, you and I had discussed many times different ways to study books, to study
Mhm.
history, and I think that would make a really nice podcast to get some of your advice on just kind of how to tackle the information that's out there. And I mean, who would have thought that all these books that had been lost for centuries are now on the internet?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, there's no shortage of information now.
Well, and you read about the big library in Egypt, and the Christians burned it, and then you see the first Queen Charlotte, I think it was, in Scotland. They made her a saint because she burnt the Celtic libraries, and it was just, just tragic that those things disappear.
Exactly. I mean, I'm encouraged and hopeful, with all the information, and really, I think that would be a really fun podcast to talk about. And also, I know that, a rolling stone gathers no moss, and you are always studying. You are always, I'm always impressed with your reading and research, and I think my audience would really enjoy seeing how the master studies. So I'm just going to say thank you, everybody. Thank you. I will have Judge Bouschor back again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.